Welcome to Lorebound, a journey through Warcraft's forgotten stories where we're tackling every quest needed for the Loremaster title, zone by zone, from classic all the way up to the war within. WoW is massive, and that's over 3,000 quests just up to the Cataclysm expansion. Deep lore, hidden gems, and tons of nostalgia. Most players skip it, we won't. Each episode will cover one zone, its story, core rewards, and what makes it special. It's long, it's tough, but by the end, we'll have the Loremaster title, cool tablet to flex, and the right to say, I didn't just play WoW, I lived it. We step through the dark portal and find ourselves in a war zone. The Legion is attacking both Horde and Alliance forces at the bottom of the stairs, right on the other side. The sky is red, the ground scorched, and demons are everywhere. The Stair of Destiny is barely holding. We report to the Horde captain in charge. He says they need no help at the front, but one courier already tried and didn't make it through. Therefore we're given a new task. Fly across the battlefield and deliver a report to Thralamar, the main Horde base in the Hellfire Peninsula. We saw past the fighting, dodging fireballs and felguards, and finally reached the settlement safely. There, we report the situation at the Dark Portal. The sergeant at Thralamar promises to send reinforcements right away, but since we managed to get through the enemy lines, he sees potential in us. Therefore he sends us to speak with Nazgril, the orc in charge of the region. Nazgril is tough and serious. He says the Horde is holding its ground, but the Legion is still pushing forward. Therefore he sends us to Sergeant Shatterskull to reinforce the front lines. Shatterskull explains that a powerful demon Lord Kazak is leading the Legion here. But before we can reach him, we need to take out his lieutenants and break the enemy chain of command. Therefore we sent to eliminate waves of lesser demons and their Dreadlord commanders hiding in a nearby ravine. Our void and shadow magic work extremely well. Demons don't stand a chance. With the command structure weakened, our next target is the forward base at Rival's Fall, as the Legion is still pouring in reinforcements through the two nearby summoning portals. Therefore we head out to destroy them. We defeat the guarding demons, collect their runestones, and use them to shut down the portals. A few explosions later, the supply lines up go in flames. Fireworks always brighten the day. But the Legion isn't done yet. They're transporting troops and supplies along the Path of Glory, a road made entirely of trampled Draenei bones, a haunting reminder of the Horde's dark past. The name is grimly ironic. Therefore we're tasked with bombing two major Legion transporters along the path. We hop onto a wyvern with a bag full of goblin explosive and rain fire from the sky. Boom, mission complete. But it seems the goblins are having too much fun creating bombs, because right after we land, we're sent out on another aerial strike. This time through the Abyssal Shelf, the Legion's main production zone. We climb back onto a wyvern and drop bombs across the entire factory area. Fell cannons, scene engineers, and worker demons all go up in flames. Seems like we're getting really good at this bombing thing. After reporting back, a courier arrives with new orders. Return to Thralamar. But before we go, we still have one job left for Nazgril, wiping out as many bone-chewed orcs as we can. Those are the orcs that were driven mad by demonic corruption. Now they fight like wild animals. Therefore we launch a full void power genocide across their camps, eradicating them one by one. While doing this, a goblin engineer at Thralamar was short on materials for his bombs and needs spare wood and metal. Therefore we collect whatever we can from the broken carts and siege wreckage. He's thrilled to make more explosive, and frankly, we're happy to see more fireworks. We return to Thralamar to report our success at the front lines. The battle is going well, but the fight isn't over yet. We're told that in the north, the Legion is still building a forge camp, and their forces haven't finished construction. we're sent out to disrupt the work and stop the camp from ever being completed. We strike fast, eradicating demons and destroying their equipment, but their leader, a massive overseer named Forge Fiend Razor, stands in our way. We take him down in a fierce fight, and on his body we find a burning Legion missive, a sealed letter from their command. But with the writing is in the demonic language, so we cannot read it. Therefore we bring it back to the Magister Bloodhawk in Thralmar, hoping that he can translate it. He agrees to help, but warns us it will take some time. Even though the first Forge camp was destroyed, we're sent out again, this time to the north, to Forge Camp Rage. There, the Legion has set up fell cannons, and they're pointed directly at Thralmar. So we head out to destroy the weapons before they can be fired. We leave the area in ruins and return back, reporting once more to Nazgrel. He says that there is still one more threat nearby, a warp gate at Invasion Point Annihilator. It's a massive portal that keeps summoning Legion forces into Hellfire Peninsula. Therefore we take a key from the demon warbringer Arik Samal and seek out to destroy the gate. We fight through waves of demons, unlock the core of the gate and blow it to pieces, shutting the door to the abyss once and for all. Back in Thralmar, Magister Bloodhawk has finished translating the missive. It turns out to be an attack plan, a strategy written by Azeroth the Merciless, a Legion commander working from the pools of Aganar. Therefore we're sent out again, this time to hunt Azeroth down and break the Legion's chain of command. On our way to the pools, we meet a desperate goblin named Foreman Razzlecraz. He's miserable. He says he was tricked by other goblins into thinking he'd strike it rich in Outlands, but instead, his mining camp has been overrun by demons, his shredder is broken, and his tools are missing. So, we agree to help him. We search a nearby ravine filled with dangerous poisonous worms. They leap from the ground and attack without warning, but our shadow magic deals with them quickly. We gather the parts he needs and return them back to him. But Razzlecraz has one more problem. His peons have been captured by fell orcs from the Hellfire Citadel. Therefore we head straight into the orcish camp, tearing through the ranks while searching for survivors. We manage to rescue Mani, Moh and Yak, bringing them back safely to the foreman. Just when we thought we were done helping Foreman Razzlecraz, another problem showed up. This time, he lost his key to the shredder. He claims the keys were eaten by nearby hellboars, which sounds ridiculous, but we have no choice. Therefore he gives us a fellhound trained to sniff out the corpses and, yes, shit out anything they've digested. Yummy. The job is just as disgusting as it sounds and takes far too long, but eventually we find the keys. We hand them back to the goblin, thinking it's finally over. But no, he has one more request. His mind is still crawling with Gonarch demons, servants of the Legion that are gathering resources. Razzlecraz doesn't want to risk his peons or shredder once again, so we head it ourselves, wiping out the demons and defeating their leader. With the mine cleared, Razzlecraz is finally ready to work again, and we return to our main mission, hunting Arceus the Cruel at the pools of Aganar. Arceus is bold and foolish, he's standing alone, unguarded in the open. We strike quickly and the fight ends fast. His massive body falls to the ground, and we make sure his terror-fiend lieutenants are destroyed too. It's better to crush them here than let them take the skies. As we continue flying west, we stumble across the body of a fell orc assassin, the one Kron told us about. But something strange stands out. There's an unusual axe sticking out of the corpse, clearly crafted by someone with rare skill. Therefore we take the weapon and head back to Thralmar to report. On the way, we stop by to destroy the Alliance tanks that have been firing on our siege engines along the Path of Glory. No more cannonballs from them. Back with Nazgrel, we learn we must investigate the origin of the mysterious weapon. Thankfully, our expedition includes a skilled shaman who can use his spirit wolves to track down where it came from. But before we follow the trail, an urgent matter needs our attention. Apothecary Zelana at the forward command wants us to continue study Feloric blood, but her tools are too basic. Therefore she sends us to Spinebreaker Post, where better equipment is available. There, Apothecary Albrecht runs some tests on the blood samples. If he still had blood himself, he says it would be boiling with rage as the vial erupts with living scarabs. That's not normal. We need more samples. We send deep into Zeth Gol, a city of the Bleeding Hollow orcs, to gather as many samples as we can. While there, we also kill their leader, Master Crush, which throws their ranks into chaos. Back at Spinebreaker, an orc soldier lies injured. Therefore we collect Hellfire's pine leaf to make a healing balm for his wounded leg. With the orcish blood samples gathered, we toss them into the burning cauldron near the post for purification. We return to the apothecary, who prepares a full report on the corruption. We take it back to the Thralmar for review. Yet our work isn't done. We return to Zeth Gol, this time to use their own blazing torches to burn every outpost in the camp. Flames rise high as we leave nothing standing. Before we leave, we manage to capture one of the Eyes of Greylock, demonic scouts searching for a Bleeding Hollow shaman. It turns out that this shaman sold his own eye to a demon in exchange for shadow magic. Therefore we now need to recover his eye patch, a magical item that may hold secrets. We find the shaman hiding in a cave near the burning cauldron, guarded by his loyal bodyguards. The fight is tough, but we bring him down and take the eye patch. Returning to our orcish allies, we hand it over, but examination will take time. The dark magic inside may reveal why the Bleeding Hollow clan turned to demons in the first place. Next, we head to the Expedition Armory. A whole army of ghostly former Alliance soldiers is stationed there. They were killed long ago, but their spirits still linger in Outland. The Horde sees them as potential allies because their hatred could be used against our enemies, but they don't want to talk, only fight. Therefore we force a showdown to get their attention. During the battle, we find a strange tome that none of us can read. Therefore we take it to the Spinebreaker Post, where a historian named Althen manages to decipher it. He tells us the armory was destroyed long ago by the orcs and death knights. That's why these spirits are trapped, endlessly battling the fell orcs. Therefore, to convince them to fight for us, we need to give them a common enemy. We head back to defeat the commander Thalvos to claim his battle horn. This horn can rally the unyielding spirits. We then find the old Alliance siege tower, where many of their comrades once fell to the foul commander Utrak. So, we blow the horn and summon Utrak to battle. The spirits rally, fight him, and finally taste victory again. We go to the commander Horgath at the Expedition Tower to ask for their help. He thanks us for restoring their honor, but he says they owe us nothing more. All we receive is a ghostly weapon. Nothing more, nothing less. With the failed parley behind us, we head south to find the Zeppelin crash site. It turns out these goblins are related to the one we helped near the Thralmar. They didn't get very far. They're starving, so we agree to help them cook a proper meal. First, we head to the Razorthorn Trail to gather eggs from Ravagers. Some we steal, some we take by force. On the way back, we also find warp fields with unstable Voidwalkers. One of the orcs from the camp asked us to collect samples, so we plant his device, summon the creature, and gather 3 warp nethers. Back at the crash site, the goblins are happy with the eggs, but they want the bacon too. Therefore we hunt deranged hellboars nearby. The meat is nasty, but with the goblin's purification mix, we make it eatable. Most of the time, at least. We're told not to mention where the breakfast came from. Next we were asked to add some buzzard wings, so we got to the nearby ravine, kill every bird we can see, and collect some leftovers from the wreck. With their full stomachs, the goblins suddenly get an idea. What if Voidwalker energy could power the Zeppelin? Therefore we go back to the warp fields and hunt Voidwalkers for their essences. The goblins start working on their repairs immediately. They're excited to return to Area 52 and show off their new fuel. With that settled, we head far north to see the Void Ridge to continue studying the Voidwalkers. This time, we need to collect their very souls. Some of them put up a tough fight, but we eventually get what we need. Therefore, the orc uses the souls to build up a wall-proof generator. His goal? Summon a Void Prince, Baron Galaxis. We summon and defeat him quickly, collecting his soul too. The mad orc says he can now command the power of the void, but honestly, I doubt that. Still, we hand over the soul and move on. We return to Thralamar to continue following Orcish blood trail. Apothecary Antonovich wants us to understand why the Fel Orcs fell to the corruption, but not out of curiosity. He hopes to prevent the Horde's own forces from meeting the same fate. Therefore he gives us a device called the Demoniac Scryer, which can gather intel, but it needs to be fed with souls first. Therefore we head to the nearby Hellfire Citadel to kill enough corrupted orcs to satisfy the Scryer's hunger. Once it's powered up, we fly over to Hellfire Basin and replace it to begin gathering its readings. But the demons constantly swarm the area, so we have to defend it while it works. Eventually we get the reading, one that mentioned a caged demon inside the citadel, hinting that whatever we've seen so far is only a tip of the iceberg. With this dark information we hurry back to Thralamar, where Nazgrel immediately summons us. The Horde wants us to break the Fel Orc chain of command, and therefore we're sent to the foot of Hellfire Citadel to defeat the brutal commander Gorax. We cut down many of his soldiers and finally face him, but he's no match for our shadow powers. We drive a Horde banner through his corpse, and at last the Hand of Kargath appears. We strike him down too, and collect his head as proof. With this threat removed, we return to the earlier assassination plot. We use the Spirit Wolf again and summon him to lead us. Therefore he guides us through the mountains, where we discover a surprising group, the Magha, orcs who never gave in to the Burning Legion corruption. But they're not quick to trust us. We tell them our story, and they see our purpose. Therefore they send a letter to Garrosh Hellscream, vouching for us. We deliver it back also to Thralamar, but no meetings are arranged just yet. Our journey takes us next to Falconwatch, a major Blood Elf outpost in Outland. Our first mission for them is simple: kill some vultures just outside town. Their rangers are running out of arrows, therefore we need to collect feathers from these scavengers to resupply them. Next, we're sent to the Great Fissure. New Blood Elf recruits coming through the dark portals are being hunted by Alliance, and many die before reaching Falconwatch. Therefore we need to clear the area of the stone-skied brutes to make a safer path. But while fighting them, we encountered their leader, Black Talon the Savage, a beast that's long been on the Blood Elf's wanted list. Our shadow magic proves too much for him, and we return with his claw as proof. While exploring the fissure further, we stumble into the den of Haleshi, home to a strange race of a birdmen called Arkoa. Therefore, we fight our way through them to collect scrolls of their magic to help the Blood Elves learn more. While we were there, we also asked to capture a female Karichi hatchling, a beautiful bird species. The male has already been caught, but they need both to breed them in captivity. We also discover a lost Blood Elf who got separated from her caravan and ended up captured by the Arakoa. Therefore we fight off ambushes, free her, and safely escort her back to Falconwatch. During all this, we find a strange magical orb that keeps trying to speak to us. When we interact with it, It communicates through the whispers and begs us to free it, promising a great treasure reward in return. Therefore we search for its altar and place the orb there, but it turns out the elemental inside is still bound by the Arakoa magic. So we break the spell and release the elemental from his chains. Grateful, he rewards us with a blessed magical ring, boosting our powers in the battles ahead. Back at Falcon Watch, we check in on the rescued Blood Elf lady, but it turns out she's causing quite a bit of trouble. She keeps screaming about the missing pack she lost during her time in the wild. Therefore we head back into the wilds to search for it. After some time, we find a small makeshift camp she has built while lost, and inside it, her pack. With that handled, we return to the Great Fissure. Therefore we're tasked with lightning beacons to guide incoming Blood Elves pilgrims safely through the dangerous landscape. But the moment we light them, a swarm of whelps attacks. It seems that they're not ready to give up their territory so easily. We fend them off, clearing the way for the future travelers. With that threat taken care of, we are sent once again to the pools of Agonar. These pools were once sacred training grounds, but they've long been corrupted. We have two tasks: find the missing husband, who has been obsessed with the pools, and collect Felblood from the terrifying beasts nearby, the Terror Fiends. The search isn't difficult. In the middle of the pools we find a slime-covered corpse with a journal, therefore confirming it's the missing man. At the same time, we hunt down the Terror Fiends and collect blood samples from them. The fell energy inside the blood is extremely potent, and the Blood Elves believe they can use it for their own purposes. We then return to the Falcon Watch to find a surprising twist. The journal isn't about research at all. It's full of romantic letters and notes. The man had been secretly meeting a mysterious Blood Elf lady, and it seems that his friend that knows her might have traveled onto the Zangarmarsh. We follow the trail and find a Blood Elf friend, but he refuses to give up his friend's secret. Therefore we challenge him to a duel. After a short fight, he reveals the woman we're looking for, who is Viera Sunwhisper. To deal with her, we're given a special spell of retribution, but we can't use it in town. Therefore we head to the nearby Cenarion Silker village to buy a special wine that will lure her in. Viera, not suspecting anything, eagerly accepts the drink, but the spell turns her into a rat, and the nearby camp cat Twinkle takes quite an interest in her. We'll leave them to play while we head off. Our final task takes us back to the pools of Agonar. The Draenei are trying to perform a cleansing ritual to purify their waters, but the Blood Elves need the fell corruption to remain, so they can keep using the energy for their own ends. We use a signal gem at the altar to draw the Draenei ritual team out. Once they begin their cleansing, we strike, therefore stopping the ritual and ensuring the fell corruption remains intact. With our business in Falcon Watch wrapped up, we head to the nearby Cenarion post, where the druids are asking for help. Their first request is simple: gather blood samples from the local hellboars. These beasts are mutating, and the druids are trying to understand why. We collect the blood, and one of the druids uses it to test a new antidote, but the experiment backfires. Instead of curing the mutation, it makes it worse. So, the druid realized they still have a lot to learn about the strange forces in Outlands. Next, they asked us to deal with the Ravagers, aggressive creatures that are becoming a serious problem. Normally, druids avoid killing wildlife, but these beasts are threatening the passage to Zangarmarsh, therefore we sent to reduce their numbers and protect the border. Soon after, the druids tell us also about a massive red crystal that recently crashed nearby. When they went to investigate it, they were forced to retreat because powerful raging colossi had appeared to guard it. We take on the task of destroying the colossi. One by one they fall, but we notice something strange. Each colossus drops a resonating red crystal when it dies. Therefore we bring the crystal back to the druids. They examine them and discover that the crystal emits dark energy, and when left alone, it summons even more colossi. Therefore they send us to the main crystals, to cleanse and revitalize the earth around it. As the ritual begins, a blood elven mage appears, saying this is all part of his master experiment. He demands that we stop, or he'll spread even more crystals across Outlands. And before vanishing, he reveals the name of his master, Hellfire, the leader of the Blood Elves. But before we can process that, he summons a massive colossus named Golathion. The creature is enormous, and we're forced to fight for our lives. After a hard battle, we bring it down. The druids are furious. Hellfire, their former ally, has now become a danger to the balance of nature. They vow to stop any future experiments like this. With that behind us, we're sent into the ruins of Shannara to investigate what happened to the Draenei there. But the place is crawling with demons, therefore we gather demonic essences to learn more, and along the way we meet a group of survivors known as the Lost Ones. They ask for our help. One of them believes that some of the tribe elders might still be alive. Therefore we search the ruins and eventually find Naldu hiding in the back of the village. He tells us to free the captured elders, but we need a key from one of the demon huts first. We sneak in, steal the key, and return to Naldu. He sends us to find and rescue the elders one by one. With their chains broken, the elders regain their elemental powers. To defeat the demonic leader, Azeroth, Naldu lends us a magical staff. The staff weakens Azeroth, making him vulnerable. Therefore, we defeat him in battle. But just before he dies, Azeroth reveals that Naldu himself was the one who betrayed the tribe. After the fight, Naldu admits it's true. He was promised power, but those promises were empty. Now, with his tribe free, he's ready to die in peace. This wraps up our work in Hellfire Peninsula. For our final task, we are going to defeat the powerful Fell Reaver, but our void magic proves too strong for him as well, and he dies. Therefore, we are sent on war to Zangarmarsh, where we will aid the Cenarian expedition. We head to Swamprat Post to meet Zrai and continue our work for the Horde.